Like most people during the pandemic, I was on social media. And one day I was scrolling and this post really caught my attention. This mom was asking people's thoughts about celebrating Halloween as a Christian family. Today I'm sharing about why Micah and I have chosen to stop celebrating Halloween. And this comes with a biblical lens because I absolutely believe that Jesus is my Lord and Savior. And my heart here is not to judge anybody who is celebrating Halloween. My hope is that it inspires somebody like it did for me with that mom's post. So my hope is to inspire somebody to start looking into it, to be mindful, to start asking questions. So I started looking into this a little bit more and I started reading the comments, like some very in alignment as to why would you ever want to celebrate Halloween? And some very like, that's a little excessive. It's just a costume and some candy. I know some people absolutely love Halloween. And Micah and I have never been fans. And I didn't like the idea of having to find a new costume idea every year. I didn't like the just the dark side of things, like the skeletons, the death, and the scary decorations, just the darkness of everything. I don't know. Halloween has never been our thing, but we still celebrated with the first daughter because just like any other mom, I didn't want her to miss out because I didn't like Halloween. I didn't want her to not experience things. I didn't want I don't know. I want it to be normal, I guess. And now that I'm much more rooted in my relationship with Jesus, I know that we are called to be in the world and not of the world, and that we are not to be conformed in this world, but to be transformed with the renewing of our mind. And back then, I guess I wanted to be normal, whatever normal means. And so we celebrated Halloween with the first daughter, and we had matching Snow White costumes, and it was the cutest. My kid and I were invited to this, I don't know if it's called a murder mystery or something, but it's this game where we all dress up and then we find who killed somebody. And my character was Snow White and Micah was a dwarf. I personally believe that buying pre-made costume, very productive, but not so unique. And so Micah made me this awesome red tutu and I know, husband of the year. And I had this navy tank top and this yellow spaghetti strap top that I layered and put a red bow on my head, and that was my costume. And so we repurposed that costume for the next Halloween. And so for our first daughter's Halloween, I wanted to be cute. And so we looked at her closet. She had a red tutu type dress and that she could wear a red bow on top of her head as well. And she was going to be Snow White-ish and we were going to match. And Micah was going to be Prince Charming. It was going to be awesome. All of that to say is comments were talking about the roots of Halloween and how it started in the church and how it transitioned and what it meant and tons of interesting stuff. Another comment was a link to a video of this former Satanist turned pastor just talking about celebrating Halloween. He was giving 5 reasons to not celebrate Halloween and how it opened up doors to evil and how dressing up means that we're giving away our identity rights and just write a video. I'm not going to go into detail. I'll link it below. But one thing that I've heard was celebrating Halloween meant that we're celebrating Satan. And he rejoices in that because it's the one night that Christian parents allow their children to celebrate him. And I'm a very competitive person, so I have this deep desire, and I don't know if it comes from the right place, but I have this deep desire to defeat the enemy, always. And I do fall short sometimes, but I will end up doing things just because I know that if I don't, I would fall short of God's standards, of my potential, and that the enemy will win. That was enough for us to stop celebrating Halloween. We ask ourselves, how can we tell our kids to live for Jesus, to reject the ways of the world, and then turn around and celebrate a day that celebrates the enemy? I know it can sound excessive or intense or whatever you want to call it. But if we think about it, Satan doesn't need us to openly worship him. He needs us to let our guards down. And Halloween is rooted in witchcraft. It glorifies fear, death, evil. To me, it's just a celebration of dark. So when I found out about that post, we just had finished celebrating it with our then 3 and 1.5-year-old. And they had matching leopard tops and I got them some leopard ears and that was their costumes. And I created this awesome scavenger hunt in our condo for them. And then we found out that all the Halloween stuff, we did our research and we had a conversation with the girls right away. And we talked about how Mama and Daddy looked into Halloween and we found out that it doesn't honor Jesus. And they were like, okay. And over the years, people have asked if it becomes more challenging with them being older. Like we now have 4 daughters from 1.5 to 7-year-old. And to be honest, we haven't found that. Our girls are absolutely amazing. They absolutely love Jesus with all of their heart, soul, and mind. And side note, just to show how they love Jesus, our 7-year-old recently asked if she could get baptized. And Micah was like, oh, what does it mean to be baptized for you? And she was like, it means I show the world that I love Jesus. And then I started crying. And if anything, they go into the world and share about Jesus in their childlike faith. When sometimes, even as somebody who's so rooted, I could feel a little uncomfortable saying some of the things that they say. And one thing that happened last year is our oldest, who was 6 then, she had swimming lessons and her swimming instructor had asked her what she was going to dress up as for Halloween. And then she said, well, we don't celebrate Halloween. It doesn't honor Jesus. And I love that she's able to share her love for Jesus so boldly. I know that it can be challenging to go against the flow, especially when it feels like everybody around us is celebrating Halloween. But it's just for the kids, or, it's just candy. I would rather stand in front of Jesus at the end of my life and have him tell me, Anne-Marie, you have overreacted for Halloween, but well done, good and faithful servant. Then have him tell me, I gave you wisdom and discernment, and you chose to do what the world told you. Let's talk about Halloween in the comments, and I'd love to hear your thoughts respectfully. Thank you for hanging out.